Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for connecting today to this very special webinar rooted in justice. And I'm very grateful to be moderating this panel. And Luisa Castañeda, Executive Director of Land is Life. Today, together with Global Alliance for the Future of Food, we are organizing this webinar. Thank you so much to all of you for connecting. This session will be recorded and circulated to all of you after the meeting. We have interpretation available in Spanish, French, and English. And to use interpretation, click on the globe icon on the bottom of the screen. You will also see the instructions posted in the chat. We will welcome you to introduce in the chat if you would like to do so, and to start this meeting in a good way, to bring us together for the discussion, I would like to introduce Valiana Aguilar. Valiana is a Mayan farmer, beekeeper, and cook from the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico. She is also one of the 5 Indigenous Women Fellows of Land Life Indigenous Women Program. Thank you so much, Valiana, for joining us today and for starting this webinar in a good way. The floor is yours.
Muchas gracias, querida Luisa. Primero que nada, quisiera agradecer a todas y todos por venir y encontrarnos desde nuestras raíces y nuestras historias. Vengo de una región que fue fracturada por la herida colonial de las haciendas henequeneras, la historia del daño a nuestros suelos por el monocultivo y nuestra historia como pueblos indígenas están entrelazadas. Hemos experimentado el desplazamiento de nuestros sistemas alimentarios y de nuestras tierras. En nuestro pasado vivo, sigo escuchando los relatos de mi abuelo Armando y mi abuela Griselda, que ambos siguen vivos, de la violencia que vivieron y de los estragos que traía a la casa, a la familia. Tuve la oportunidad de crecer parte de mi vida con ellos y de aprender que lo cotidiano, como el traspatio, la cocina, la comida, el monte, la fiesta comunitaria, son espacios revolucionarios, donde la ternura, el cariño, los cuidados, afectos e intercambios se volvían categorías políticas para seguir luchando por tener una vida digna. Mucho tiempo pensaba que esas historias que nos atravesaban y encarnábamos como nietas de la hacienda eran como susurros de advertencia para no olvidar. Sanar conlleva la responsabilidad colectiva de retomar los hilos de nuestra historia para volver a tejerla y reivindicarla. Hoy retomamos esos hilos para honrar el tejido de nuestra memoria colectiva desde distintas geografías, porque nuestras voces son como semillas y cada historia que narramos es un acto de siembra. Como campesinas que guardamos la vida en la tierra, estamos en la primera línea de muchas luchas, aunque pocas veces se nos reconozca. Estamos enfrentando las consecuencias del sistema agroindustrial que amenaza nuestras formas de sembrar, de alimentar y de vivir. Pero también estamos construyendo alternativas todos los días, desde la tierra, desde el fogón, desde la comunidad, desde la pesca, la recolección y el pastoreo. Este encuentro es para eso, para escucharnos, para reconocernos, para sentirnos acompañadas. Cada palabra compartida siembra algo. Como dice nuestra amiga y aliada Vandana Shiva, toda vida comienza en la semilla. La semilla no es solo la fuente de la vida, es el mismo fundamento de nuestro ser. Lo que sucede con la semilla afecta toda la red de la vida. Así, lo que hacemos aquí, reunirnos, compartir, recordar, escuchar, también fortalece esa red. Cada palabra que ponemos en común es como una semilla que germina en la tierra fértil de nuestra comunidad. Y juntas, en la diversidad de nuestras voces, seguimos cultivando un futuro. Nuestras voces son raíces que atraviesan generaciones y al pronunciarlas estamos regenerando, como los suelos cansados que vuelven a respirar cuando se les cuida con amor. Nuestras historias son raíces que nos anclan. Cada palabra compartida, cada historia contada, es semilla que germina en nosotras y en las comunidades que habitamos. Juntas, con nuestras voces y saberes, seguimos tejiendo caminos de cuidado y esperanza para las generaciones que vendrán. Sanar la tierra es sanar nuestra historia en el presente, en un mundo donde el 70% de la comida es producida por la red campesina alimentaria, principalmente por mujeres, indígenas, rurales, y donde menos del 15% de nosotras poseemos los derechos sobre las tierras agrícolas. Cada semilla que plantamos en una tierra que ha sido víctima del extractivismo y el monocultivo es un acto de reivindicación histórica para hacer el camino de la justicia alimentaria, para que la vida florezca de nuevo. Defender nuestras semillas de nuestra palabra es defender la posibilidad de un futuro digno, es custodiar la diversidad, la abundancia y la vida misma. Por eso, cada historia, cada memoria, cada gesto de cuidado que compartimos se convierte en un acto de resistencia y de regeneración. Que nuestras historias se vuelvan raíces fuertes que nutran a las comunidades y que cada semilla de narrativa que plantamos aquí florezca en justicia y en esperanza. Bienvenidas todas, todos, todes a este encuentro donde la tierra, la semilla y la palabra se abrazan. Muchas gracias, Nip Olal.
Muchas gracias, Valiana, y quiero retomar la cocina como espacios revolucionarios y sanar, que hace parte de la responsabilidad colectiva de sembrar ese tejido de reconciliación. Thank you so much, Valiana, for these words, and I hope now we can start in a good way this webinar, and now for that, I'm gonna just give some remarks. This webinar is about Indigenous peoples, food systems, and justice. And this is those two terms that are very correlated, and that's what Land is Life does too. Land is Life is an Indigenous peoples coalition working in more than 35 countries to advance self-determination of Indigenous peoples. And one of the main objectives and priorities that we have is working with Indigenous peoples to advance their food system as an important way to tackle and mitigate the challenges that they are facing as consequence of the climate crisis. And we believe also that working with Indigenous women is the best way and the most effective way to advance the rights of the communities, but also the Indigenous economics and all the well-being of Indigenous peoples. And we are, for that reason, also working a lot with Indigenous women, having the Indigenous Women program that encourage Indigenous women to continue advancing in their priorities, are also creating networks and going to the forums where decision making are happening. For that, we believe that with this event is a way to support their food systems, but also to improve in access to justice, food sovereignty, and ensure that food systems transformations are happening for healthy and sustainable diets for all. And now with these short remarks, we want to reemphasize that we need to elevate food justice for Indigenous peoples, for land defenders, which are very critical things for advancing food sovereignty. And this is the new report, Rooted in Justice, that the Global Alliance is about to launch. And this is part of this very important webinar to discuss how was the process and what this report brings us or shed light into the process of these discussions. I would like to give a quick overview of the agenda. We're gonna have remarks by various speakers, breakout rooms, and closing. And we have 5 incredible Indigenous leaders with us, and we are very grateful for having you all who are connecting from different parts of the world and took the time to share this space with us. And also we have like members of the co-organizers, Land is Life, and the coalition, and for the philanthropy landscapes as well are accompanying us today. We will now launch a quick poll to assess which language you would like to speak in the breakout rooms. As I mentioned, after the remarks, we are gonna go in breakout rooms, and my colleague Anna will launch the poll now. While we work on the poll, you can choose language, Spanish, English, and French. We would like to invite you to click one of these options so we know who is gonna attend the breakout group. This is very important because the discussion is gonna be taking place by language, so we can organize ourselves before that. So we invite you to do that. We only have one answer from 73 participants. We invite you to click in the poll. Do you see it in the screen?
Yes, I think we already have 50 plus people who answered.
50?
Yeah, which is great.
Okay.
So we give it another
Okay.
10 seconds and then I think.
Perfect. Thank you, Teresa. And welcome everyone. I see that people continue joining, and for that, I would like to pass the floor and introduce Anna Lape from the Global Alliance for the Future of Food. Anna Lape is an author, advocate for food justice and sustainability, and the executive director of the Global Alliance for the Future of Food, a strategic alliance of philanthropic foundations. Anna, the floor is yours. And thank you so much. We know it's very early for you. We appreciate that you connect today.
Thank you so much, Luisa. Yes, it is a little early here. I am calling in from unceded Ohlone land in the San Francisco Bay Area. So yes, maybe some other folks who are also zooming in are also, it is morning for you as well. Welcome everybody, and just such an honor to be here. And Valiana, always love hearing your voice. And as you were talking, I was remembering standing on your land and seeing the incredible beauty of what you have grown in your community and the seeds you planted there, and then getting to eat food from your revolutionary kitchen. So thank you for all your incredible work and for your words today. And just wanted to take a few minutes to share appreciations from the Global Alliance for the Future of Food, and to tell you a little bit more about the work that we've been doing around food justice and our new publication launching today. So first, I really can't say enough, Luisa and all of you from Land is Life can't say enough about how wonderful it has been to work together, and how powerful your work in the world is, how vital what you are doing is to make the kind of change we want to see in the world. So thank you, Luisa, and all of you from Land is Life. As Luisa said, my name is Anna Lape. I'm the executive director of the Global Alliance. For those who don't know us, we are about a bit more than a decade old. We are an alliance of philanthropic foundations working within and beyond philanthropy for food systems transformation, rooted in 7 core principles. Principles I heard, Valiana, in your words, of renewability, resilience, diversity, health, equity, inclusivity, and interconnectedness. And when I think about the folks that are part of this conversation, I really think about the power of these principles running through our work. We at the Global Alliance develop initiatives. Rarely do we ever do any work alone. We really see the power of collaboration. And for us, the Storytelling Project is an example of that work that we hope catalyzes the kind of transformational change we believe is so needed in food systems. And so with this webinar and with the publication we're launching today, Rooted in Justice, Global Voices on Food, Power, and Liberation, we see this as an expression of our shared work. The work we've been doing as part of this conversation today, we've been doing over the course of the past year or so, working with 8 food justice leaders from around the world who came together to share their perspectives on food justice through personal storytelling, shared conversation about memory, land, identity, healing, resistance. And this work we also complemented with other ways of knowing. We did data science review about how the media reports on food justice and how that concept appears in different contexts. For us, we hope this work really inspires philanthropy and beyond philanthropy to work in greater solidarity with those most affected by extractive food systems. And we did this work, as I said, through kind of tapping into diverse ways of knowing, but really grounded in these virtual conversations across these incredible 8 leaders, some of whom are here with us today. And the result was this storytelling gallery that we're launching today that we really see as such a powerful call to action to support those closest to the problems and solutions to transforming food systems. And as we confront what we see as very interconnected crises, for us, this publication, the webinar we're all part of today, really gets to this question of what does food justice look like when defined by communities themselves. And in the case of this project, it was in places from Canada, China, the United States, Nepal, Ghana, Mexico, Myanmar, Palestine, and Peru. In all this work, we're grateful to all of you for joining us. And we're also really grateful to our members and partners who supported this work, including the Robert Bosch Stiftung, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Instituto Ibirapitanga, the W.K. Kellogg Foundation, Oak Foundation, and MacDoc Foundation. And finally, I would just want to close to take one last opportunity to share our appreciations to the leaders who really opened their hearts, opened their stories to each other and to all of us. So to Joanne Chung and Brijlal Chaudhry for their brilliant facilitation, thank you. Thank you to the incredible food justice leaders for their wisdom and guidance and for sharing so generously. So to Valiana Aguilar, to Samar Awad, Isa Calderon, Kamasa Dorothy, Don Morrison, Maiten Yuman, thank you so much. Today, as we're connecting virtually in this moment of so much crisis and suffering, unprecedented famine and genocide, climate and biodiversity crises, rising anti-democratic forces, and so much more, for me, it is in this work, in the lives and action of you on this call that inspire me so much, and that show how we can build solidarity and strengthen and connect movements, and in so doing, really move towards new ways of being in the world that we so need. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for being part of this conversation. And with that, I will pass it back to you, Luisa.
Thank you so much, Anna, and congratulations for this publication. And it's a very, very important day. I know you have been working, all the team of the Global Alliance for the Future of Food, working on this publication, and it's very special that we are launching it today. And it's very inspiring, the work that you do. And as you said, Anna, is a call to action to support the ones that are at frontline, and they need the support from all of us. And this is a very important moment where we need to stay together. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Anna.
Luisa. And as I should say, I'm seeing in the chats, thank you to every single person on the team at the Global Alliance for all their work as well. It's really such a team effort.
Yeah, and also we have 2 of the leaders who took part of this publication, and it's very important to recognize them and thank them for this important work. We're gonna be speaking today as part of this storytelling project. And with that, I would like to pass the floor to Valiana for her remarks. Thank you so much again, Valiana, and congratulations for the publication.
Muchas gracias. Jemima, thank you. Gracias. Bueno, pues yo quisiera compartir un poco de quiénes somos. Somos un colectivo de personas mayas, de jóvenes mayas, también mayoras. Ay, creo que se puso la otra diapositiva. Bueno, somos de la tierra, el territorio de Sinanché, Yucatán, en México, un territorio abrazado por la costa yucateca. Somos gente indígena, maya, del mar también, como de la tierra. Y pues bueno, a partir del diálogo entre prácticas ancestrales y nuevas técnicas amorosas con la tierra, queremos vivenciar y visibilizar las posibilidades que existen de reinventar y tejer otras maneras de estar y existir en el mundo como personas mayas, respetando y cuidando de la comunidad ampliada de la vida. La siguiente, por favor. Para nosotras la cocina es política y la comida es sagrada. Así que luchamos por recuperar la comida, la cocina ancestral y resistir desde el fuego de nuestras abuelas. La cocina para nosotras tiene ese espacio de aprendizaje, de seguridad, de sanación y de ternura. También es un espacio donde se transmiten saberes, donde se enseña, se organiza, se cuida y se resiste. Y también es donde hemos históricamente sostenido a nuestras familias y comunidades, las semillas y también nuestras ideas, historias y luchas. Siguiente. Nos dedicamos también a compartir saberes sobre la transformación de los alimentos y de cómo como campesinas también es nuestro derecho histórico transformar nuestra comida como lo hemos hecho ancestralmente. Y así que con otros colectivos mayas que hacen agroecología, nos dedicamos a compartir estos saberes de la transformación de alimentos como un derecho histórico como campesinas. Siguiente. Y pues este es un ejemplo también de las cocinas que hacemos y reivindicar el fuego como una herramienta que nos puede ayudar a no depender del extractivismo de gas o de electricidad para cocinar y acercarnos ancestralmente a cómo el uso del fuego como de manera ancestral y cuidada puede ser transformativo también para nuestras vidas, para dejar la dependencia así de tecnologías o de energías que extraen elementos de la tierra, como lo es el gas. Siguiente. Acá algunos ejemplos de cómo usamos nuestro espacio de la cocina como un espacio político también. Siguiente. Acá otro ejemplo, somos como mujeres mayas podemos igual tener estos espacios de aprendizaje en transformación de nuestras cosechas. Siguiente. Y pues este es un ejemplo de un encuentro de mujeres campesinas mayas que también hicimos en apoyo con Lanis Life. Y este encuentro se basó para compartir nuestros saberes como mujeres indígenas y aparte campesinas en nuestro espacio, es nuestro espacio colectivo. Y el encuentro se llamó La cocina como espacio político, justamente. Siguiente. Actualmente estamos trabajando en un sistema agroforestal y una milpa regenerativa y ustedes pueden ver la foto de nuestro trabajo. Anteriormente nuestras tierras, como mencioné, eran tierras que se usaron para el monocultivo del enequén y pues eran tierras erosionadas y con técnicas de agroforestería y de regeneración de suelos y con técnicas ancestrales también. A través de un año hemos logrado transitar de lo que ustedes ven en la foto, como un suelo muerto, erosionado, a una parcela viva. Esto es un cambio de un año solamente. La semana pasada cumplimos un año de haber sembrado y hemos cosechado más de media tonelada de alimentos de una tierra que estaba completamente erosionada. Siguiente. Así era nuestra tierra, era pura piedra, era puro erosión y pues quisimos demostrar con apoyo colectivo de nuestra comunidad que la tierra se sana cuando la trabajamos colectivamente y cuando la sanamos y cuando encontramos maneras de quedarnos en nuestros territorios. Siguiente.
Valiana, tienes 30 segundos, por
Sí,
favor.
cierro con esto, regenerar el suelo es regenerar nuestra voz y la posibilidad de que los jóvenes permanezcan en nuestros pueblos. No queremos ser desplazados, sino queremos condiciones para recuperar nuestra vida ancestral en el presente como acto de restitución histórica y una forma de sanar las heridas del extractivismo y allanar el camino hacia la justicia alimentaria. Muchas gracias por el espacio.
Gracias, Valiana. Y me gustaría retomar de lo como iniciaste, la cocina es política y la comida es sagrada. Esto conecta muy oportunamente con nuestro siguiente orador, que es Jader Lewis, que también nos dará unas remarks. Jader is the director of Mesoamerica Program of Landslide, who has a large experience working on management of marine and territories of indigenous peoples. Thank you so much, Jader, for connecting today and taking the time to share some of the work that you are doing in the region.
Muchas gracias. Buenos días a todos. Bueno, como bien decía Luisa, soy el director de Life en Mesoamérica. Tengo una experiencia de colaboración en la gestión territorial a nivel local y de incidencia en política internacional de aproximadamente 25 años. Y en este recorrido, la alimentación es uno de los pilares del debate que tenemos los pueblos indígenas en el desarrollo sostenible. Y no sé si recuerdan, hace como unos 20 años o 25, el Programa de Naciones Unidas para el Desarrollo, el PNUD, había desarrollado unos indicadores de desarrollo y particularmente tenía unos indicadores de poblaciones en extrema pobreza, poblaciones en condiciones de pobreza y otras que eran menos que esto. Y qué casualidad que cuando uno hacía un traslape de estos mapas de pobreza, los mapas que indicaban mayores niveles de pobreza de donde vivimos los pueblos indígenas. Y esto lo traigo a colación a propósito de justicia y alimentación, porque la primera gran brecha que nosotros nos encontramos es el concepto de desarrollo, el concepto de producción, el concepto de acceso y el concepto de desarrollo económico que los países se priorizan como políticas y que marcan una gran brecha con las formas como gestionamos el territorio y usamos el territorio desde los pueblos indígenas. ¿Cuáles son algunas frases que están en la narrativa de las políticas de desarrollo económico que se gestionan desde los países? Por ejemplo, somos poblaciones que tenemos sistemas económicos de subsistencia y es particularmente de la forma de practicar nuestra agroecología, nuestra recolección, nuestra cacería, nuestra pesca, nuestra agricultura, que es basada y centrada principalmente en satisfacer la alimentación familiar y comunal. Esto desde los indicadores macroeconómicos que los países se tienen en las políticas y sus estrategias, no es suficiente. Porque esto en las estadísticas de los productos internos brutos no es algo relevante para esos macroindicadores económicos. Entonces, ahí empieza la primera brecha y que nos conlleva a un escenario de injusticia fuerte en materia de políticas. ¿Por qué? Porque nos toca proteger territorio que desde la lógica de las políticas son territorios subproductivos, improductivos. Entonces, ahí empezamos a enfrentar una de las principales crisis, porque entonces nuestros territorios, que son nuestra base de nuestra soberanía alimentaria, empiezan a ser invadidos por el desarrollo ganadero, por el desarrollo de los monocultivos, por la expansión de la minería, por la industria forestal, que en Mesoamérica, olvidé decir eso, que voy a hablar desde el contexto de Mesoamérica, la actividad forestal cada vez es menos, ya han acabado casi todos los bosques de la región. Entonces, ya no tanto la actividad forestal, pero sí una fuerte corriente que va hacia el incremento de la actividad minera, algunos monocultivos y particularmente la expansión de la ganadería. Entonces, aquí creo que, que debemos de fortalecer la gestión territorial, el diseño de los territorios, las instituciones de gobernanza, para que los procesos de administración de acceso a los territorios, de regulación del uso de la biodiversidad, estén sustentados y conectados a los sistemas alimentarios y las bases de la soberanía alimentaria. Es caótico que nosotros gestionamos la libre determinación, que en algunos contextos le llamamos la autonomía, y nos imaginamos una autonomía política, pero estamos descuidando el deterioro y la erosión de la autonomía alimentaria. Estamos viviendo una etapa en que los programas por ejemplo, el Programa de Naciones Unidas para la Alimentación, PMA, Programa Mundial de Alimentos, una de sus mayores carteras de asistencia alimenticia van hacia territorios indígenas en Mesoamérica. Entonces, teniendo nuestros territorios, teniendo nuestros sistemas de conocimientos tradicionales, teniendo la biodiversidad más resguardada que hay en la región, esta incidencia de una política de subsidio alimenticio y alimentario para hablar de seguridad alimentaria en territorios indígenas tiene que ser revisada desde las políticas y deben de haber por consiguiente procesos de consulta y de consentimiento libre previo informado para diseñar este asistencialismo que no sea erosivo. Luisa.
30 segundos, Yader.
Que no sea erosivo a la autonomía, a las bases de la autonomía alimentaria, desde la gestión del territorio, desde la gestión de la biodiversidad y desde la gestión de los conocimientos tradicionales. Creo que mi principal mensaje que quiero dejar es que tenemos que hacer un fuerte trabajo de incidencia en política que permita visibilizar el capital y talento que representan los territorios, los conocimientos y los sistemas alimentarios indígenas en la sostenibilidad de la biodiversidad del planeta y los procesos de adaptación y mitigación del cambio climático.
Muchas gracias, Yader, por estas palabras y recordar su punto sobre el descuido que tenemos en algunas veces de abordar la autonomía alimentaria y la importancia de proteger los territorios, los conocimientos y los sistemas alimentarios de los pueblos indígenas. Thank you so much, Yader. Now I would like to pass the floor to my team, Yuman. My team is a Shin Indigenous woman and human rights and climate activist from Myanmar, and she is currently serving as an advocacy lead on nature and sustainability initiative for Indigenous people, which she founded. So nice to see you, my team, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Luisa. Hello, everyone. It's a great honor to be a part of this wonderful panel. I'm Maite Numon. I'm, as the moderator just introduced me, I'm currently serving as advocacy lead of Nature and Sustainability Initiative, which I myself co-founded in 2022 as a response to food insecurity in conflict-affected areas in Chin State. Even though the organization's mandate had expanded over the years to be able to cover wider and holistic approach, the way we started was as a nutrition at school initiative, and it still remains to be one of the main thematic programs of our organization. We believe, like myself, after traveling through conflict-affected areas as a part of the cross-border humanitarian assistance from India to northwestern part of Myanmar, what I witnessed myself was that the food systems of indigenous peoples have been deteriorated in many different areas, and of course, one of the main causes was the conflicts, the armed conflicts that we have been going through for the past 5 years. However, there were many other problems, as my fellow panelists have highlighted, but I would like to highlight more about the conflicts and how it have affected indigenous peoples in especially in Myanmar. As many of about in Chin State alone, more than 120,000 people have been displaced out of their respective communities, villages, and towns. So what does that entail in terms of food security and food sovereignty? We conducted, as a part of NACI's work, I myself and my husband conducted a small food security assessment in southern Chin State. And what the study highlighted that more than half of the population are food insecure. However, as the study touched several communities, the study also highlighted that in communities where internally displaced people are allowed to access to land and forests and to practice their food systems, even in the host community, those areas and villages, the people are found to be more food secure. And also another study we conducted in Shan State in Inle region, even though all these regions are affected by conflicts in very similar ways, the status of food security became different based on how strong the local food systems remain, and how the indigenous people's food systems are still practiced. So what I would like to highlight here is that many communities have faced the deterioration of indigenous people's food systems, including access to our land, forests, because forests have become unsafe, especially due to the contamination from large mega development projects, as well as in the past few years, even from armed related activities. So it has become more and more important for Indigenous peoples in our regions to revitalize the Indigenous peoples' food systems, also because these conflicts have blocked many roads, and also the state actors are practicing roadblocks, and many transportation systems have been disrupted. So so that Indigenous peoples communities can continue to have food security, we also need to those communities who practice food sovereignty in a very strong way, who have maintained these, have become more secure in terms of food security. So my organization, we've also, after consulting with several Indigenous peoples communities, right now we are designing, revitalizing Indigenous peoples food systems in conflict affected Indigenous communities in Chin State and beyond. And I think it has become more and more important for philanthropy organizations to intervene such locally initiated activities, locally initiated projects through locally led local Indigenous peoples organizations and CSOs. Of course, there are many humanitarian responses that are also going on in Myanmar and other conflict affected areas. However, these very big actors and usually humanitarian assistances that come with huge fundings and through big organizations, they usually tend to omit the cultural sensitivity, as well as especially strengthening the locally led initiatives, which actually are very much vital to for the long-term sustainable development of these communities, and especially for keeping our planet healthy. So I would like
I
to encourage. Yes. Okay, I'll
15
close.
seconds.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to invite all our partners, as well as philanthropy organizations and who all the development partners, to partner with Indigenous women organizations, youth, and locally led initiative organizations, so that you can contribute more effectively with smaller amounts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Martin. And this is very important, the work you are doing on revitalizing Indigenous people food system, and in this context of war or crisis, and the importance to access to land to revitalize and be food secure. Thank you so much, and congratulations for the work that you do, my team. Now we're gonna go to the breakout rooms, and I would like to pass the floor to Teresa. She will guide us in the process. The floor is yours, Teresa.
Okay, thank you, Luisa. And then I'll just pass it back to you right before we open the breakout rooms to go through the guiding questions. Okay, everyone, so we're going to be moving into the breakout rooms in just a few minutes. So in just a second, I'll open the breakout rooms. So at the bottom of your screen, you'll see an icon for the breakout rooms, and you'll see a list of all the available rooms. And these are broken up by languages. So I've just opened up all the rooms now, so you should be able to see that. And you are able to self-select the room that you would like. And so we want to have about 7 or 8 people in each breakout room. So when you're selecting the room, make sure you don't go into a room that has already too many people. The guiding questions are in the chat, just to guide a little bit the conversation. But we're asking that when everybody is settled in the breakout rooms, please introduce yourselves, and then you can assign a reporter, because after the breakout rooms, we're going to have an opportunity to share back, and then we'll ask as many groups as we can to share back some insights from the conversation. So just volunteer one person in your group. So yeah, if you have any troubles getting into the group, let me know. I'll be here in the main room and I can support you. And shall I pass it back to you, Luisa, for the guiding questions?
Thank you, Teresa. I just posted the questions in the chat. We can visit the breakout rooms posted in the chat, so we can move faster because we are a bit behind. And yeah, let's join the breakout groups.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Hi, Luisa. So everybody,
Yes, coming back. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you so much to everyone. I had the opportunity to be in the Spanish one and listening to all these amazing people doing great work in their territories and also sharing some of the challenges. We would like to take 10 minutes to share. And also, I don't know if you have the time to discuss who's gonna be the rapporteur, if there is someone who wants to share something. I would like to hear what the discussion was about in your breakout room. So I'm gonna start with the Spanish one as I was there. I would like to share something about Latin America, our friends who were there. I need to see, okay, I see Carlos here. Carlos, you like to share?
Sí, que comparta mi pantalla.
No, para que puedas compartir lo que discutimos en el grupo. Y si hay algo que quisieras compartir de las reflexiones de ahorita, que contabas de las mujeres.
Sí. Bueno, en el grupo se mencionaba de que la gestión alimentaria desde el pueblo maya se basa en reconocer y valorar los propios roles y saberes del pueblo maya en la gestión de los alimentos. Luego, desde el pueblo mezquito, se ha tomado importancia en el reconocimiento de los roles de las mujeres que tienen en la gestión de la alimentación, en el manejo de huertos, incluso en la pesca, porque son las principales también recolectoras y comercializadoras de productos costeros, ¿verdad? Y a nivel de otros pueblos también el tema marino costero ha cobrado mucha relevancia, ya que forma gran parte del porcentaje de la alimentación de los pueblos. Podemos atrevernos a decir que en zonas costeras la alimentación proviene más o menos de la parte costera, un 60-70%, ¿ya? Y luego pues ya tenemos sistemas alimentarios ya sembrando, digamos, cultivos de temporada y otros cultivos tradicionales que hay. Desde la
Gracias.
parte de Panamá, igual es importante reconocer cómo está afectando el cambio climático a las zonas costeras y a los sistemas de producción de alimentos. Y un llamado pues para la juventud que debe de reconocer en nuestras prácticas tradicionales en la gestión de los alimentos. Eso.
Gracias, Carlos. Bueno, acá algo que se discutió mucho fue los sistemas alimentarios en las zonas costeras en Mesoamérica, lo cual ese es un tema bien de importancia en este momento. Yo quisiera, si alguien del grupo de francés o inglés quiera compartir algunas reflexiones con nosotros, por favor, alce la mano porque yo solo estoy viendo aquí arriba. O si puede abrir el micrófono, por favor, hágalo. Quien quisiera. Yo veo a Joan conectada. Joan, you would like to share with us something from the conversation? So nice to see you, Joan.
We landed on the question, which is how can stories not be individual stories, but be collective stories? Because everything that we're talking about is about collectives. I think this is more of an invitation for reflection. We don't really have specific answers, but I would just invite all of us, you know, across all of our different languages and many more languages to think about how all of our past histories and all of our fates in the future are woven together, despite us needing to speak different languages. Because at the end of the day, what we're talking about and the earth that grounds all of us is one and the same.
Thank you so much, Joanne, and thank you. We are also part of the publication, so congratulations for that, Joanne. Who else would like to share some of the insights, discussion that you have in the breakout room? We would like to. There were two French speakers.
Lisa, I see a couple of raised hands.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Deborah.
yeah.
Please,
Yes, I was
1 minute.
I was very inspired to take notes for a group that included four women that are in African countries that are all responding to not only industry, but the pastoral experience to revive indigenous food sovereignty practices. And I learned about a lot of organizations I wasn't aware of, Global Seed Savers in the Philippines, Protecting Seeds, the Equitable Food-Oriented Development in New Jersey. I think these are the kinds of things, the stories that can be added to the book that we're celebrating today. And I also just want to note the Global Day of Action on September 20th, drawtheline.world. It's going to bring all the people that are challenging the kinds of extractive industries that we need to confront as we try to promote Indigenous food sovereignty and food justice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Alexandra?
Hi, yes. I also took notes for a group that shared from many different places, from Uganda, from the Philippines, from Latin America, about the vulnerability of seeds and land and the importance overall of developing autonomy and independence from corporate control, and looking at from different aspects of food sovereignty, the importance of maintaining and developing and advancing the sharing of knowledge and information and resources to stay independent and autonomous in terms of food, in terms of food systems, in terms of land and seeds. So it was nice to hear stories from different perspectives of different struggles, and also the really like hopeful and constructive work that people are doing to construct food sovereignty in different places.
Thank you so much, Alexandra, for sharing. Giselle? Giselle is gone? Okay, there you are.
Ah, désolée, mon micro était fermé. Voilà. Nous avions une discussion à deux. J'étais avec Antine Sonde, qui est originaire du Burkina Faso. Il vient d'une communauté Peul, Fulani ou Peul. Donc, c'est une communauté nomade qui se promène au-delà des frontières qui ont été établies par les pouvoirs européens. Donc, ils ont certains défis. Ils sont pastoralistes, donc ils suivent les animaux. Ils cueillent des fruits aussi. Il y a des problèmes de sécurité parce qu'ils traversent plusieurs frontières. Et il y a aussi des défis avec des conflits dans cette région. Il y a l'impact des systèmes climatiques. C'est une communauté très, très large. Il y a eu aussi la fermeture de frontières qui nuit à cette communauté-là. Il y a un accord pour le pastoralisme, mais ils ont des problèmes, surtout au Burkina Faso, parce que c'est un régime militaire. Donc, ils sont très bien organisés, c'est des militants. Ils font des soumissions aux organismes internationaux, aux Nations Unies, à d'autres paliers. Et donc, c'est comme ça que le travail continue. Moi, j'ai parlé un petit peu, quoique je ne suis pas autochtone, j'ai parlé de la situation au Canada. Nous avons plusieurs groupes autochtones qui ont perdu leurs terres et leurs ressources. Hein, grosso modo, ils n'ont pas été laissés avec beaucoup. Donc, il y a un mouvement pour la souveraineté alimentaire qui est connecté vraiment aux revendications pour la terre, pour les ressources, surtout pour la chasse de gibier, la pêche, Et donc, ces communautés-là sont très pauvres comparées à la population canadienne non autochtone parce qu'ils ont été, bon, en tout cas, ils ont vécu tous les problèmes reliés au projet colonialiste et ils ont aussi des défis en santé parce qu'ils mangent plus leur régime, mangent moins leur régime traditionnel. Ils mangent de la nourriture ultra transformée, donc il y a beaucoup de problèmes de diabète, ainsi de suite. Mais j'ai de l'espoir parce qu'il y a énormément d'activités pour revendiquer leurs droits et c'est un dossier qui bouge, mais épineux parce qu'il y a le développement des ressources. On a beaucoup de ressources au Canada. Ça passe par des terres autochtones, donc c'est contentieux. Voilà, c'est ça.
Merci, Giselle. Merci, Evan. 1 minute, Evans, and we're gonna wrap up with the closing remarks. Evan is there? No. Evans, can you open your microphone? No. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. There are like the commonalities in this discussion in coastal areas, seeds, revitalizing indigenous people food systems, sharing about the different countries and people that shows the incredible action that indigenous people are taking in the territory or over the world. And for that, we would like to start with the closing remarks, and we're gonna start with Jamie Brussel from Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Jamie joined the foundation in 2002, and her work focuses on ensuring that all children have the building blocks for lifelong health. Jamie, thank you so much for being with us, and also thank you for all your work and the support. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Louisa, and your beautiful moderating. So what a special discussion today. The foundation has been so thrilled and honored to be able to provide some support to the Global Alliance to undertake what I think has been clearly a pretty extraordinary effort to really enhance our collective understanding of food justice issues and organizations and networks across the globe. Um, it- I think, we've all heard today just the profound changes in the way that our food is produced and distributed and marketed and consumed over the last many decades, which have really led to an increasing threat to a future of food that is sustainable and equitable and just and secure for everyone. But today's discussion, I think, really reminds me, I think reminds all of us that the solutions really reside within the powerful stories of people and community. And I think they provide us with this really extraordinary path forward to improve the food landscape and to ultimately realize a more equitable food system for the future for all of us. And I just want to get back to the report for 1 minute, if I may. I believe Melanie had posted it earlier on in the chat. It is, I think, such a beautiful expression of all of this work. And so just thanks to everybody who had a part in shaping it and now launching it. And I hope you'll all take some time to go through it. It's not intended to be a static document, but really, I think, a living document that's going to evolve. And I think it represents so many things, including a way to really cultivate connection around the world. Joanne, you said it beautifully, like the earth that grounds all of us is the same. And that really resonated for me. I think again, this report is just this collective connection. It's a beautiful synthesis of the collective knowledge of so many food system leaders. And it helps us, I think, to reimagine the relationships between structural barriers and food systems and really identify opportunities to catalyze health and justice. I'll say, being totally transparent, there's a real learning curve in philanthropy, in developing authentic partnerships with community rooted organizations and people. And this entire process, for me, and this entire project, I think, really helps build my muscle and our muscle around supporting food justice efforts across the globe and domestically. This work is, I think, just the most perfect example of what it means to honor, legitimize other methods of knowing, with the potential to really yield practices, policies, findings that better capture health and well-being for all of us. And it's so much about the power, I think, of storytelling. And it's just, again, this beautiful collective vision where all people, all of us, have access to and choice over our food, where people are food sovereign, and where community's wisdom is truly at the center. So I'll just close. I promise I'd be short. Just saying that, you know, human rights, human dignity, foundational basic needs are totally negated when food is inaccessible, unjustly distributed, insidiously marketed, and when the agency of communities to determine and own their food system is undermined or denied. And so just my sincerest thank you to all of you, to all of the storytellers on the call, to all the food system leaders listening in, for all your work to elucidate what it will take to support equitable, sustainable, and just food systems across the globe. So thank you so much for letting me be part of today in this process. And I will turn it back over to you, Louisa.
Thank you so much, Jamie, and thank you for living in this initiative that we are celebrating to date, and the power of storytelling, as you just said. And it's very important. I want to recognize the presence and acknowledge the presence of some of the authors and the leaders who took part of this. I saw that Samar, my team, Valiana, and Joanna here. Forgive me if I missed something. I was looking at the chat, but of course there are other wonderful people who took part of this. And with that, I would like to pass the floor to Marianne Mako for her closing remarks. Marianne is a pastoral Maasai indigenous woman from Tanzania, dedicating to empowering indigenous women on food security. Marianne, great to have you here. The floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Luisa, for the opportunity, and thank you, everyone. Marari, I'm from Tanzania, from an indigenous community, dealing with empowering women on issues of food security, agroecology, and also trying to help women or pastoral community to shift from only relying on pastoralism as the only means of getting food to other ways like small-scale farming. So we're training them on agroecology and other things. Jemima, if you're around, you can share the slides with me. Okay, the next slide, Jemima. Next slide, Jemima. Okay, Tanzania is a home of diverse indigenous community. We have a lot of indigenous community, Maasai community being one of them. And we are seriously facing a lot of challenges, especially when it comes to droughts, because a lot of animals die, the communities are left with no food. And in our community, we are trying to help them find an alternative way of surviving so that they can get more food and do away with malnutrition and things like that. Jemima, you can go to another slide. Another slide. Okay, this is just an example of climatic change impact that affect our communities, the pastoral communities. The animals die and we suffer because if you don't get food, it's another thing. But now we are trying to see pastoralism as a climatic adaptation strategy by doing the following. We do mobility, like the animals have to shift from one place to another. We do rangelands management so that the animals can get if they shift from one place to another, the other part is left, the grasses grow, the animals get food, and they don't die, at least during the drought season. We also use indigenous knowledge to predict the weather. Like we get to know that at this round, the rain is about to come or not. We also do livestock diversity, that we don't only rely on maybe keeping cows, but we also keep sheep and goats, because goats are really, they are resistant to climatic change, at least not like the cows. Also, in areas like that they are highly affected with climatic change, having livestock is also another way of getting food. So we also, with the help of Land is Life, we are trying to help the indigenous community women to start adapting on small-scale farming that is basing on agroecology. We train them on how to plant things like vegetables and other climatic resilience crops like cassava. But we are basing on the knowledge of agroecology, because some people are really doing farming, but they're doing in large scale and they're using a lot of medicines. But for us, we are training them to have small scale farming, or we can say garden farms, but they use natural pesticide instead of this the modern ones. That's what we do with the help of Land is Life, and we are so great. You can see the pictures here. This is a compost manure. With the help of Land is Life, this is what we have been doing. We train the pastoral women. This is a completely new knowledge to them, because most of them rely on pastoralism, only livestock. They only know milk and meat as the only source of food. But with Land is Life, this is what we have done with them. This is a compost manure. You can see the women trying to prepare the natural pesticide, and this is the farm right now they have. They can get access to the vegetables, the fresh vegetables. There is no medication, it's just fresh. They're using the natural pesticide from what is around. Okay, another slide. There's a synergy between pastoralism and farming. Like if we have livestock, we can get manure to be used to the farm. There's the issue of mixed livestock reduced risk of climatic vulnerability. Like we mixed the livestock that we have. We don't rely only on one type of animals, but we mix them. And also another slide. These are the challenges and barrier. We have the challenge with limited access to market and infrastructure, land tenure insecurity. Like there's a bit of displacement from the state organs, but it's bringing a lot of challenges to us, because if you have to move from one place to another, you don't have a place to go and start even a small farm. We can't even access a garden farm to start planting fruits to eat or vegetables. That's another challenge to us. Another challenge is
you have 30 seconds, Marianne. 30 seconds. Yeah.
Recommendation and way forward. You can see like recognize and protect indigenous land rights, promote inclusive climate finance, providing finance and technical support to community-led initiatives, especially the one in the grassroots. Most of the challenges that we get is that we don't get a lot of finance. Land is Life has supported us in a great way, but we are also asking for other stakeholders who are around, who are in this webinar, to consider the indigenous communities, especially the ones at the grassroots. There is a lot to be done to the people at our villages. There's a lot of things to be done. And for the end, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I'm so grateful to be part of the webinar.
Thank you so much, Marianne, and congratulations for the amazing work, and we are glad to support some of the work that you are doing. We have heard here from the speakers about the importance of supporting the work of the grassroots Indigenous Peoples organization, and I hope this is a key message from today's webinar. We would like to thank you, all of you, for joining us today from the different parts of the world. And thank you also to the interpreters, and thank you so much for the 3 extra minutes. We appreciate your work, and you make this meeting possible. And also, you like to join the mailing list and the chat. We have been sharing the new report that we celebrate today, and we invite you to read it and explore it. And we hope this is a call to action to funders, but also all the partners that are connected here and allies. And thank you again. And we hope this is the beginning of amazing and beautiful opportunities that we continue weaving together. Have a wonderful day or evening, depending where you are. Thank you. Bye-bye. And thank you to the Alliance for